if it is. I can say it. I don't think it's called illegal. It's frowned upon. It's like we have teachers throwing things, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start talking about rectangles. And we're going to focus only on perimeter of rectangles. And later on in the year, when we get into quadratics, we can talk about area. But because area is squared, we have that exponent of 2, we can't use area right now. We're only writing linear systems, so we're just going to be dealing with perimeter. How do you find the perimeter? And you guys may need to put this in the margins. How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle? You add up all the sides. Now, that's a way to do it if I can actually see my rectangle. My problem is can we see our rectangle here necessarily? So what we can remember is it's 2 lengths, because you're going to be adding up 2 of the lengths, correct? What else are you going to be adding up? 2 widths. So when we look at writing what I would call succinct or nice equations for perimeter problems, we want to use the idea that the perimeter formula is 2 lengths plus 2 widths. That gets me all 4 of the sides. All right? So I have the length of a rectangle, and all I know about it is that it's 4 more than the width. I know that the perimeter is 116 meters. What they're telling me is that this is enough information to find both the length and the width of the rectangle. So because I don't know either of those measurements, I have to start off with L equaling the length, and simply W is equal to the width. They didn't tell me that the width is 4. They didn't tell me that the length is 7. They just told me that the length is 4 more than the width. These problems look a little bit different. Oh, guys, notice how I used a capital L? Either use a capital L or a cursive lowercase l with like the loop. Why? Exactly, Cody. You got it figured out. No. All right, these problems are a little bit different than yesterday's because yesterday's we were finding 2 totals. Like we knew we bought 40 items and we spent $83.50. We knew we had 12 coins and that it equaled $4. We had 2 totals. Here we don't have 2 totals. So what we're going to do here is simply use our algebraic expressions, use our reading and math to write equations. They tell me that the length of a rectangle is, the key word right here is, ladies and gentlemen, because I know that is equals. So I've got the length of the rectangle. We didn't have a value for that, but I did have a variable. So I can write L equals. After the equals comes the phrase 4 meters more than the width. Can I take those words and turn them into an expression? How, Cody?
4M.
I'm gonna leave the label off and just call it 4.
4 W.
Guys, he was a little shaky with his plus. Do we agree with plus there? Yeah, because it says more than. Beautiful. All right, so that's our first sentence. Our first sentence gave us our first equation. Our second sentence is going to give us our second equation. I know perimeter equals 116. I've got to have variables in there somewhere, guys. I've got to have an L and a W somewhere in this equation. So I'm going to take what I know the perimeter is equal to. Perimeter is equal to 2L plus 2W. And so for these rectangle problems, that second equation, ladies and gentlemen, is usually our standard equation. You simply are going to change it to whatever the perimeter is. So they're going to say the perimeter is 12. You write 2L plus 2W equals 12. They're going to say the perimeter is 17. 2L plus 2W is 17. All right, your job is to solve these just like it was yesterday. Christian, which method is this set up for solving? Substitution, yes. We will be doing substitution today quite a bit without having to solve or isolate a variable. Okay? Could you manipulate this for elimination? You could. You could subtract W from each side, and then L and W would line up. I like to not manipulate my equations and just use the method that's there. So I'm going to take 4 plus W and plug it in for L. So I'm going to have 2 times, I've got the 4 plus W in there, plus 2W is equal to 1 plus 16. I like it because I have nothing but W's. And once I have just one variable, I know I can solve this equation. Distribute. You should have some like terms to combine because you should be combining those variables. So 4W plus 8 is equal to 116. Minus 8 from each side. And I would hope at this point some of you are ahead of me in the game. We should have 108. Is it 27?
Yep.
All right, W is equal to 27. 27 what? Width equals 27 meters. They give me the label in there. I need to find both length and width though. So I need to be able to say length equals, how are we going to find that out?
We'll put in for W.
You've got to plug it in somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. And so you're actually going to have to rely on your equations. All right. I'm going to plug it into equation 1. This one has a little less manipulating. So I'm going to do 4 plus 27. So that should give me 31 meters. Now the nice thing is, you guys were fortunate to have Keisha remind us of what it means to find perimeter. And perimeter was to add up all the sides. So remember yesterday I told you guys you could check your answers without using your equations? You can do that for these rectangle problems. Draw the picture of the rectangle, label lengths, label widths, and then go around and actually add up all 4 of those sides. See if they actually work. So if you're afraid you're messing up this perimeter formula, ladies and gentlemen, get your answers, label your rectangle, and then go through and physically add up all those sides. We get 58 plus 58, which is the 116 that we said we should have. So this looks like a good answer. Okay? But once again, just like yesterday's problems could be checked by using common sense, so can today's. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need to hand you guys worksheet number. And so just like when we started out, we had, the length is twice the width, or the length is 3 less than 4 times the width. And we took those words and turned them into algebraic expressions. We're going to do the same thing here. So it says the tens digit of a 2-digit number is 1 more than twice the units digit. They use the word units instead of ones digit, guys, and I think that's just to keep the number 1 out of the problem. Possibly. The number is 26 times the units digit. Find the number. When they say find the number, guys, what that means is you have to find a tens digit and a units digit to put together. So like when I was doing your warm-up, I picked a tens digit of 7. I picked a units digit of 2, and I put those together to make 72. So you're going to have 2 variables. T is the digit that's in the tens place, so whatever answer you get for T. U is going to be the answer you get, the number you put in the ones place, so U equals. What that tells me about the types of answers we should be getting, ladies and gentlemen, is there shouldn't be any decimals. You should not have any negative numbers. Your answers are going to run between 0 and 9 every single time. It's going to be 1 digit between 0 and 9. It can't be 11 because you can only put 1 digit in the ones place. So if you're getting anything other than 0 through 9, whole number answers for these, you know you need to go back and look at your equation, look at your signs. All right, so let's take a look at it. It says the tens digit of a 2-digit number. This is just telling us that we're only going to have 2 variables. This 2-digit number is just kind of what we would call a distractor. None of that is going to show up in our equation. But the tens digit, that's our variable t, means equals. I need to have 1 more than twice the units digit. 1 plus, more than is still going to mean plus. How do I get twice the units digit? I'm going to use 2u. If you use x, you could use x. But twice something means 2 times that, so 2u. Looks like we're getting set up for substitution, right, guys? All right. We then have this phrase, the number. You won't see it in every single problem. But the number is referring to, like we had in the warm-up, that 72. And that 72 I showed you was calculated by doing 10 times the tens digit, 10 times that 7, plus 1 times that units digit. So these are kind of similar to the perimeter problems, and that there's a specific formula you're going to need to use. The difference is not every one of these problems is going to have the phrase the number. But if they start talking about the number, how is that calculated? It's calculated with 10 times t, because that's the value of the tens digit. Think of it like your nickel problems. You did 0.05 times n, because that's what a nickel was worth. We're going to do 10 times the tens digit, because that's what your tens digit is worth. We're then going to do 1 times the units digit, because that's what your units digits are worth. So that's how we calculate the number. Well, equals, we've got the is up there. Cody got to start with that. Equals. It doesn't say 26. It says 26 times the units digit. How are you going to show me 26 times the units digit? 26 u. I don't know what that units digit is. I don't know if it's a 1. I don't know if it's a 9. I don't know if it's a 0. Probably not a 0 in this case, because 26 times 0 would be 0. But it's some number that we're going to multiply by 26. We need to find the number, which means I need to solve the system to get t, u, and then put those together as a number. So as I pointed out earlier, this is set up for substitution. It's t equals, so I'm going to plug this in for t. So I'm using that 10 because the tens digit is worth 10. I'm going to multiply that by 1 plus 2u. You're going to have 3 of the same variable. That's what you need to make sure happens after you do your substitution, that you have all u's or all t's. But yes, in this type of problem, we're often going to end up with variables on both sides. So you have 3 of the same type of variable. Shane, what would I do first if I'm trying to solve for this u?
Multiply 10 by 1 and 10
Yep.
by 2 by u.
So we get 10 plus 20u plus 1u equals 26u. I've got these 3 variables. I can combine 2 of them together, right? Because they're both on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to do that. So I've got 10 plus 21u is equal to, this side is still just 26u. I cannot just add these 2 together, guys. They're on opposite sides of the equation. What good algebra skills are we going to use, though? Minus 21 from each side.
Yeah.
I don't want to move the 26. Why? That would empty out this side of the equation. I want to have something on each side of my equation. I want to keep that scale balanced, not empty it out. 10 equals 5u. Divide by 5. So far, I feel confident because I got a positive number. It's a whole number, and it's between 0 and 9. So it's fitting the mold that we need. How am I going to figure out what t is, though? Because I can't make a 2-digit number without 2 digits. Right now, I only have 1. Plug in 2 for u. I can use either equation. Which one makes more sense? I like the t equals, right? Does that look a little bit easier to work with, guys? So I'm going to take t equals 1 plus 2 times. I'm going to plug 2 in. students often have a hard time and don't get full credit for all the work they do. I want you guys to put these answers together to make a 2-digit number. So you're either going to make 25 or 52. How do you know which number you're going to make? Am I making 25 or am I making 52? How do you know 52? 50, T stands for 10, so I know 5 has to go here for 50 and then 2. The other thing is that Cody just said 26 times 2 is 52. I know that it makes it. You can kind of use that chat to help you. It says the number is 26 times the units digit, so you can just do 26 times 2 and get 52. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it says I would like you to go up and do problem number 1. So let's work on number 1. I need to turn a light on, guys. I cannot read your papers very well.